Now here's Gary Bortner with an IronSphere demo.
So first let's go to SDSF. First we enter CK in order to get into Health Checker. Then we need to locate the IronSphere STIG checks. They all begin with MVR underscore. So what I'll do is I'll find for MVR underscore and locate the checks. The way these STIGs are organized for ZOS is that they are grouped under Top Secret, ACF2, or RACF. We're a RACF shop, so that's what we're looking at. So here you can see the checks, the state, active or inactive, enabled or disabled, and then the status, successful, unsuccessful, inactive, exception, error, etc. If you're having a problem running some check, you can always turn debugging mode on. These checks are kicked off automatically on a schedule that you can determine. If I do a locate for next schedule, we'll see when the next scheduled date and time is. Now in this case, we're going to kick off a few manually, so I'm going to scroll back over to the left, and we'll go down and find the three of the STIGs that Stu was talking about earlier. When I enter R in front of these in order to run them, you're going to notice that the status changes from successful to scheduled, to starting, and then eventually to running. Now I'm going to jump over to my browser where I'm logged into the IronSphere server's UI. Now I'm going to drill into this LPAR and we're going to see the results of the check. These can be sorted a number of ways. Initially they're sorted by severity. Since I'm looking for some specific checks, I'm going to sort them by name. So I do that, and then we come down here and we can see the three checks that we talked about earlier, 460, 462, and 550. Over here we can see the timestamps, and if you look, you can see these are run a little more recently, so that's a result of me just kicking these off. Now I'm going to drill into one of these a little bit more. Let's open up 460, and here you can see information describing the check, the results, and we have a few findings here, and then what the fix is. The fix is essentially to do a set R password, mixed case, special characters, or for length. And for length, sorry. The information comes directly from the STIG. Here in the STIG viewer, we can see the same description that we saw earlier, and if I scroll down, we can see the same fix. Obviously, you're not going to see any results. In order to do that, you have to run the check. Moving on, looking at 462, which is the check for exit, you notice the severity is none. If I expand that, we're going to see information and fix, but no results. The reason there's no results is because there were no negative findings. We passed on this one. Finally, let's take a look at 550. This is the one for tape DSN. If we expand this, we're going to see that the result is tape DSN is inactive. Well, let's say that I really don't care about this. I don't want to protect tape dataset names. And so what I want to do is disable the check so that I don't have one coming up here and saying that it has a result when it's something I don't care about. So to do this, we're going to go back over to ISPF. First off, we'll check Health Checker, and you'll notice that the checks all ran successfully. Not a big surprise because we already looked at the results in the browser. Then I will switch screens and go into the PARM member containing the member that describes the various checks. I'll do a find for the tape DSN check, and notice that the status is checked to active. To inactivate this, it's just simple as changing that to inactive, saving the member, and then I'm going to have to do a refresh. To do a refresh, I go back into SDSF, do a command. The command is refresh of my checks. So that's a basic demonstration there.